The transport ship slowly docked at Harmony Station, a large space hub floating between human and alien sectors. Derek stood by the exit ramp holding his small bag, feeling tired from the 3-week journey. His boots thudded softly on the metal floor as he stepped into the clean, bright halls. The lights hummed above. Signs flashed in both human and alien languages. Derek just wanted a hot shower, a warm bed, and no more talking. He had taken a new job as an engineer on the station, helping maintain the old systems in Sector 4. His last job had ended with a broken leg and a ship fire, so he was hoping for peace and quiet this time. A station assistant, a tall lizard-like alien named Joran, greeted him. "Welcome, human Derek. Your room is ready. Sector 4, Chamber 12B. He handed Derek a data chip with directions and walked off. Derek followed the map, yawning as he went. The halls twisted and turned, full of aliens from different worlds. He passed a furry creature that blinked at him with 6 eyes, a floating jelly being, and a group of Velaris, Maul. Blue-skinned aliens with big eyes and short antennae. Finally, he reached his room. He tapped the door panel, slid open with a soft hiss. Then he froze. Standing in the middle of the room was a small Valari girl. She had smooth silver-blue skin, short white hair, and wore a simple soft-colored robe. Her eyes sparkled when she saw him. She clapped her hands together and smiled like a sunbeam. "You've been assigned a wife, and it's me," she said cheerfully. Derek blinked. What?" She tilted her head. "I'm Mira, your partner. It is my honor. I've studied human ways. I will be a good wife." Derek looked around. The room had only one bed. His bag slipped from his hand and landed on the floor with a dull thump. There must be a mistake. I didn't sign up for a wife." Myra's antennae twitched slightly. "No mistake. Your name was chosen, my people, and your people agreed. It is part of the Unity Bond program. To build understanding. Between our kinds." Derek stepped back. "Look, I'm tired. I just got here. I think someone messed up the paperwork. Would you like tea?" she asked sweetly, walking to the small kitchen area. "I learned to make human mint tea, also scrambled eggs." "No, wait. Mira, this isn't..." Derek stopped himself. She looked so happy, so proud of her effort. And she was small, like 5 feet tall, delicate-looking but clearly full of energy. He sighed. "Okay, let me talk to someone in charge. Just don't touch anything." Myra nodded. "I'll wait. I will sit here, and very still when needed." Derek left the room, rubbing his temples. He found the central hub and asked to speak with Station Command. Human officer named Major Hall met him in a small office. "Yes, Engineer Derek," she said with a polite smile. "We received your arrival file. And yes, Mira is your Valari pair. 1 Valari, 1 human. Cohabitation, shared living, and daily interaction." Derek stared. "I didn't agree to this." "It was part of the volunteer form," she said, showing him the screen. "Section 6. You didn't read all the terms? I kinda skimmed." He muttered. She shrugged. "The Valari see this as a great honor. They're peaceful, and the Council wants stronger bonds. You're not expected to marry or anything. Just live together, share culture, learn from each other." But she said, "She's my wife." That's how they translate bonded partner. It's more symbolic. You're allowed to say no, but it might offend her people. Derek groaned. "So I'm stuck. To give. In a few days, if you're still uncomfortable, we can transfer her to another volunteer." Derek nodded slowly. "Fine, a few days." When he returned to his room, Mira had set the table. There were 2 cups of tea and something that looked like very uneven eggs. "You're back," she said happily. "I didn't touch your bag. I sat still, just like I said." Derek rubbed his face. "Yeah, so this bond thing, we're supposed to live together and learn stuff? Yes, to bring peace and understanding. I want to know everything about humans. I have questions about shoes, jokes, and nose sneezing." He chuckled despite himself. "Sneezing, yes? I saw a video. Humans sneeze and say bless you. Is it magic?" He sat down slowly. Not really. Just habit. Interesting. She took a sip of her tea and made a face. Still too hot. Derek picked up his cup. This isn't bad. I practiced. He took a bite of the egg. It was mostly cooked. Did you use salt? Yes. I watched 3 cooking videos. Only 3. I didn't want to spoil the ending. He stared at her. Mira giggled. Over the next hour, Derek answered her questions. Some were simple, like why humans wore belts. Some were strange, like why humans didn't glow when embarrassed. He tried explaining emotions, manners, and why socks shouldn't be boiled when it was time to sleep. He noticed her setting a small sleeping mat on the floor. Wait, he said. You're not sleeping on the ground. This is normal. She said, we sleep low to feel safe. You can take the bed. Are you sure? She nodded. Yes. Besides, the bed smells like you now. I like it. Derek blinked again, unsure what to say. He lay on the bed, staring at the ceiling, while Myra curled up quietly on the mat. As he closed his eyes, he mumbled, what have I gotten myself into? But a tiny part of him, deep down, didn't feel annoyed anymore. It felt curious. Derek woke up to the soft sound of humming. At first, he thought it was the station systems, but then he opened his eyes and saw Mira. She was sitting cross-legged on her mat, gently brushing her antennae with a tiny wooden comb. Her robe was neatly folded beside her. She had already cleaned the floor, arranged his boots, and made breakfast. Good morning, husband, she said cheerfully. I told you, Mira. I'm not really your husband, Derek mumbled, rubbing his eyes. You were assigned. That makes it official in my people's tradition, she replied. But I can call you Derek if it makes you feel less nervous. Thank you, he said, sitting up. But calling me husband is definitely making me nervous. She tilted her head. Why does the word carry pressure in your culture? Little, yeah. She nodded thoughtfully, like she was taking notes in her mind. Okay, Derek. Breakfast is ready. I made toast with your egg style, not too runny, and I didn't burn the edges this time. Derek got up slowly. The smell actually wasn't bad. He sat at the small table and took a bite. Not perfect, but edible, not bad, he said. Victory, she whispered, pumping her tiny fist in the air. Derek chuckled. You're something else. Mira smiled brightly. Thank you. After breakfast, Derek headed to engineering. He thought Mira would stay in the room, but she followed him out the door like a shadow. Where are you going? What do you do? She said as if it were obvious. My duty is to understand you. Your work is part of you. But this is engineering, he said. There are rules, machines, safety stuff. I completed the station safety training last week, she said proudly. I passed. I even know the emergency drill dance. The what? Stay close and don't touch anything unless I say so. They reached Sector 4's engineering bay, where several humans and aliens worked on systems that controlled power, flow, and oxygen balance. Derek's main job was to monitor the old converters and update the data relays. He liked it quiet, routine, and calm. But nothing was calm with Mira around, as Derek explained his job. She asked 100 questions. Why do you call it a fuse when it doesn't explode? Why is the wire color red? Is it angry? Do humans name their tools? I feel like this wrench is called Bob. At first, his coworkers looked confused. Some even stared. One alien whispered, Is that your mate? Sort of, Derek muttered. Still, Mira didn't cause trouble. She stayed respectful, wrote things in her little notebook, and even helped organize cables only, the ones Derek pointed at. During lunch, she shared Valari fruit sticks. They tasted like soft apples mixed with mint. Derek admitted they were. Good, you're adapting well, she said, watching him eat. I'm trying, he said. But I still don't get why this pairing thing is so important to your people. Myra's smile faded a little. She looked down at her hands. People believe deep connections prevent war. Long ago, we fought each other, destroyed our skies. Then, one Valari and one alien bonded during a peace talk. They saved thousands. Since then, pairing with another species is seen as a sign of peace, of strength. Not everyone agrees, but most honor the tradition. Derek said quietly. I didn't know it's not just about learning, she added. It's about trust and choosing not to fear the unknown. He looked at her again. She was strange, cheerful, sometimes too curious, but she meant every word. Well, you're doing a good job with the learning part. She brightened again. Thank you. That means I'm at level 2 of bonding. How many levels are? There's 6. Oh boy. After work, they returned to their room. Mira started drawing diagrams of the things she had learned, asking Derek to check them. He helped her fix some parts, and soon they were laughing over a badly drawn energy coil that looked like a potato. Later, as he prepared for bed, he found her setting up her mat again. You know, there's space on the bed, he said casually. We can set up a pillow wall between us. It's more comfortable than the floor. Myra looked up, surprised. Are you sure? Yeah, you're not that scary. She giggled. Thank you. You're not scary either. They adjusted. The bed added extra pillows in the middle and lay down on their own sides. Good night, she said softly. Good night, Mira. After a moment, she whispered, If I reach bonding level 3, can I hold your hand? Let's just see how level 2 goes first, he replied. She giggled again, and soon the soft hum of the station filled the silence. A week passed since Derek had arrived on Harmony Station, and every day had started and ended with Mira's bright smile and curious questions. At first, he found her energy tiring. Now, he almost looked forward to it. Mira woke up early as always. She gently adjusted her antennae and stretched with a soft hum. Derek, still half asleep, peeked from under the blanket. Do you always wake up so early? He mumbled. Yes, she said with a grin. And my people believe mornings are sacred. Fresh air, fresh thoughts. Would you like to do morning stretches with me? No, he said, burying his face into the pillow. Maybe tomorrow. She offered. We'll see. After breakfast, Derek and Mira walked to the engineering sector. Today's job was to check old cooling units near the outer docking wing. While Derek packed his tools, Mira walked beside him, carrying her small notebook. What are we fixing today? She asked. Cooling regulators. They're overheating when freighters dock. Not a big deal, just needs tuning. Do humans get bored of fixing the same thing? Sometimes, he said. But fixing something broken feels better than doing nothing. She wrote that down like it was a wise quote. When they reached the docking wing, Derek climbed up a maintenance platform and checked the wiring. Mira stood below, passing him tools when asked. She didn't speak much this time, just watched, learning quietly. A group of Vellery engineers walked by and spotted her. One of them, older and more serious-looking, approached. Mira, he said in a low voice, is this the human you were assigned? She nodded. Yes, uncle, this is Derek. The older Vellery gave Derek a long look. He doesn't wear ceremonial colors or the bonding sash. We are not at that level yet, Mira explained quickly. You must not waste the chance. You know how important this is. Mira's smile dimmed. I know, we are making progress. The older Vellery walked away without another word. Derek climbed down and looked at her. What was that about? That was my uncle. He's part of the Cultural Council. He believes the bond must grow fast, or it's considered a failure. Well, it's only been a week. Yes, but to them, time is precious. Some think human emotions move too slow. Derek frowned. What? Do you think that too? She shook her head. I think humans move in careful steps, and that's okay. He smiled at her. Thanks for being patient. Myra brightened. Of course. I enjoy learning your pace. Later that evening, after a long day, they sat in their room. Derek had removed his boots and was rubbing his sore shoulder. Mira walked over and handed him a small Vellery heat patch. For muscle pain, she said. We use this after tree climbing. Tree climbing? He repeated. Yes. Our ancestors lived high in mountain trees. Even now, we climb during festivals. He took the patch, surprised. Thanks. She sat next to him. Derek. May I ask a personal question? Go ahead. Do humans always hold back their feelings? He was silent for a moment. Not always, just sometimes it's easier not to talk, especially when things hurt. Like what? He looked down. I lost someone, a teammate, years ago. We were on a ship mission. We got caught in a debris storm. I got out. He didn't. Mira's eyes softened. She placed her hand gently near his, not touching but close. I'm sorry. Me too, he whispered. They sat quietly. The station lights dimmed for night cycle. After a while, she spoke again. My people lost a whole colony once. A virus wiped out many. But we survived because we stayed close, helped each other, held hands, even strangers. We learned that pain becomes lighter when shared. Derek looked at her. Is that why you're always trying to be close? She nodded. Not to bother, to support. He smiled, truly this time. You're doing a good job. Mira tilted her head. Is that bonding level 3? I'd say you're close, he said, holding out his hand. She slowly reached out and touched it, placing her smaller hand into his. It was warm, steady. Your hand is rough, she said, but kind, and yours is tiny, he replied, but strong. They both laughed that night. Mira didn't sleep on the floor. She curled up on the far side of the bed, blanket pulled to her chin, watching the stars outside the window. Derek closed his eyes, feeling a strange calm he hadn't felt in years. He wasn't sure what this bond would become, but for the first time, he wasn't afraid to find out. Part 3 completed. Myra stood near the large window of the station, watching a group of cargo ships enter docking range. Her antenna twitched. Something didn't feel right, Derek, she said, turning to him. Those ships, the way they move, it's strange. Derek looked up from his datapad. They're just late freighters from the outer ring. I saw them on the arrival board. She shook her head. No, their signals are wrong. They're hiding something. Maybe they're just old models, Derek said. Some ships have outdated tags. Mira's eyes narrowed. Maybe, but I've seen this formation before. During a raid on one of our colonies, same pattern. Slow approach, broken signals, silent radio. Derek stood beside her, watching carefully now. Are you sure? Not 100%, she said, but something is off. They decided to report it. They went to the command center, where officers and staff from both species worked side by side. 3 ships entering Dock 7. Derek said to the officer on duty, They're acting odd. Mira says their signals don't match their IDs. The officer glanced at the screen. Looks fine here. Just delayed haulers. Mira stepped forward. They could be using false codes. Pirates often steal ship IDs. Do you have proof? No, just instinct and past memory. We'll keep watch, the officer said politely, but clearly didn't seem worried. Myra's shoulders sank. As they walked away, Derek whispered, You did the right thing. But no one listens, she said softly. I do, he replied. That night, as the station entered sleep cycle, an alarm suddenly echoed through the halls. Warning, unauthorized systems breach. Sector 7 compromised. Derek and Mira jumped out of bed. Dock 7, she said. I knew it. They rushed toward the affected zone. Emergency lights blinked red. People were running, calling for help. Station security tried sealing doors, but systems were slow to respond. Someone's jamming the command lines, Derek said. They're inside already. As they turned a corner, a loud explosion shook the floor. One of the docking ports was blown open. Masked figures in black suits stormed in, firing stun rounds and hacking terminals. Mira pulled Derek into a side corridor. We have to stop them. The station's core is 2 halls away. If they reach it, they can shut everything down. But what can we do? Derek asked. I know their pattern, she said. I know how they move. Give me access to a control panel. They ducked into a nearby room. Derek opened a wall panel. While Mira connected her portable device, she typed fast, her hands shaking but her eyes focused. I'm redirecting power to the bulkhead doors. We can lock 2 paths. Good, Derek said. I'll reroute the backup shield. They worked together, side by side, while the noise of chaos echoed outside. Suddenly, the lights flickered. Derek swore under his breath. They're inside the grid, he said. We have to act now. Mira hit a final key. Done. Paths blocked. They rushed back into the hall. One masked attacker spotted them and raised a weapon. Before he could shoot, Derek grabbed a loose pipe and knocked it from his hand. Mira kicked the attacker's leg and brought him down. For someone small, she moved fast. You okay, Derek? Asked, breathing hard. Yes. Let's keep going. They reached the energy core room. 2 guards were already down, stunned but alive. The pirates were trying to break the main lock. We'll only get one chance, Derek whispered. Mira nodded. She tossed a small flare toward the attackers, distracting them for a second. Derek tackled one. Mira hit another with a dropped panel. Rod within minutes. Backup arrived. Security forces swarmed in and secured the area. The pirates were caught. Station systems began to recover. An hour later, the station chief called a meeting in the command room. Officers and workers gathered, tired but alert. Thanks to 2 brave crew members, the chief said, the main systems were saved. Derek, Mira, your actions prevented a total blackout. The council is grateful. Mira looked down shyly. We just did what had to be done, Derek said. We'll be updating our arrival checks thanks to your warning, the officer added. We owe you. After the meeting, Derek and Mira sat on a bench near the garden dome. The light above shifted into a soft blue night sky pattern. You were amazing, Derek said. So were you, she replied. You saw the danger before anyone. You saved lives. Mira smiled. You trusted me when others didn't. Looked at her, serious now. Of course I did. You're more than just a bond partner. You're brave, smart, strong. She looked away for a second, her cheeks turning a soft shade of blue. So, what level is that? What level of bonding? He laughed. Level 4? I was thinking 5. They both laughed as the station returned to normal. Derek felt something inside shift. He came to the station expecting peace, quiet, and an empty room. Instead, he found a tiny, bold alien girl who had already changed his world, and maybe, just maybe, he didn't want to go back to how things were. Derek sat quietly at the edge of the small garden dome, his legs stretched out, hands behind his head, eyes staring at the stars projected above. The events from the attack were still fresh in his mind. The pirates had been caught. Station systems were repaired. Everyone had gone back to their routines, except Derek. Something had changed in him. Mira sat beside him, her knees pulled close to her chest, hugging a small soft pillow she had brought from their room. She glanced at Derek every few seconds, then finally spoke. Are you thinking about leaving? She asked, her voice low. He turned to her, surprised. What? No? Why would you think that? You've been quiet? It's very quiet, like distant planet quiet, he sighed. I'm just thinking about everything. Am I part of everything? She asked, her antennae drooping, just a little. You are, he said honestly. You're a big part of everything now, Mira looked down at her pillow. I know I was assigned to you, but I don't want to be with you just because of the program. I want it to be real. Derek leaned back and stared at the soft stars above them. First, I didn't want any of this. I just wanted to fix machines and be left alone. But then you showed up. Cheerful, strange, always asking questions. And somehow, you changed the way I see everything. She turned her head slowly. So, you don't think I'm too much? You're definitely too much, he said with a smile. But in a good way, she let out a tiny laugh. I'll take that as level 5 bonding. You're keeping track seriously, aren't you? Of course, she said. We Valari don't forget important numbers. Derek stood up and offered her his hand. She took it without a second thought. They walked slowly through the dome paths as glowing blue flowers opened gently in the artificial evening light. Do you know what happens after level 6? Mira asked. You turn into a butterfly? He joked. No, she said, poking his arm. We get to choose. Choose what? If we continue together by choice, or part ways as completed partners. Derek didn't answer right away. His steps slowed. I see, he said after a pause. And if one wants to continue and the other doesn't, then we don't continue, she said simply. Choice must be equal. No pressure.
Yes.
Fair. The next day, Derek was called to a station council meeting. He had no idea why. Mira stayed behind, though she waited nervously in their room, inside the council room. Velari leaders and human officers sat together, screens displayed. Recent news: the pirates had ties to a wider group. Their attack had been a test. Engineer Derek, one of the human officials, said, "You and Mira stopped something far greater than anyone expected. You protected both species." Derek nodded. "We just acted fast." She knew something was wrong. A Velari elder leaned forward. "We've been reviewing all bonded pairings. Yours stands out. Not only for bravery, but for understanding. We are offering you both an official status." "Official. You will no longer be a temporary pair," the elder said. "You will represent our species alliance on future missions, if you both accept." Derek sat in silence for a moment. Then he asked, "Does Mira know?" "Not yet. We wish to ask you first." Derek left the room with his thoughts spinning. When he returned, Mira jumped to her feet. "Are we in trouble?" He laughed. "No, we're being offered something big." Her eyes widened. "Bigger than toast and tea. Way bigger." He explained everything. Her hands trembled with excitement. "They want us to be official?"
Yes.
"But only if we both agree." Mira didn't answer right away. She sat down, pulled her knees close, and stared at the floor. "Mira," Derek asked, sitting beside her. I'm happy," she said, "but scared too."
Right.
"Because this won't be pretend anymore. We'll be partners in real work, real danger, and real life." "You've already saved my life once," Derek said. "I think we're ready for real." She looked up at him, her silver blue eyes shining. "Then I choose to continue. With you." "Me too," Derek said, smiling. "This time, not because of an assignment, but because I want to." Mira's eyes filled with tears, not from sadness, but from something deeper. Pride, joy, and maybe something close to love. She wiped them quickly. "Then this is level 6. "Yep." He nodded. "The final level." "You know what that means?" "You get a prize?" "No." She laughed. "You get a new title." "What kind?" "Not assigned. Chosen. Chosen. Chosen." He took her hand. "Chosen." And in that moment, under the soft glow of the garden lights with the station quiet around them, the bond became real, not just between a human and an alien, but between two souls who decided to walk the same path together. Weeks passed since Derek and Mira accepted the official offer. They were no longer just part of a cultural exchange. They were recognized as partners. Chosen by both their species and each other, the station had returned to normal. Repairs were complete and new security systems were in place. But something inside the people had changed too. They looked at humans and Velari differently now. Not as strangers, but as friends who could protect one another. Derek adjusted his new uniform. Jacket, still getting used to the tighter collar. Beside him, Myra wore a clean sash of soft green and blue, the colors of shared unity. "You look serious today," she said, walking beside him down the main hall. "I'm just thinking again," Derek replied. "About our first meeting?" She guessed, double quotes. "Yeah," he said. "I walked into a room and you smiled at me and said I'd been assigned a wife." She giggled. "And now you have one." "Not assigned, chosen," he smiled back. "True." Today, they had been called for their first shared mission. Not war, not danger, but something just as important. A peace conference between two small alien colonies, both on the edge of fighting. The council believed that Derek and Myra's bond could be a symbol. Something that reminded others that trust could grow, even between very different beings. As they reached the transport bay, an officer handed them a data file. "Your mission is to speak with the leaders of both sides. Share your story. Answer their questions. Show them what peace can look like." Derek accepted the file. Myra nodded politely. "We'll do our best." On board the shuttle, they sat close, going over names, details, and maps. Derek explained the basics while Mira added small facts. She remembered about both species. "This group uses color gestures during talks," she said. "Blue means peace, Red means interruption. Good to know, Derek said. Last thing we need is an accidental insult. Mira looked at him. For a moment, are you nervous? A little, he admitted. You. A lot, she whispered with a soft laugh. At least we're nervous together, he said, giving her hand a gentle squeeze. They landed on a neutral platform floating between the two colonies. Both groups waited there, watching closely as the human and Valerie stepped out side by side. The meeting hall was round, with open-air views of space and tall plants growing in the corners. Leaders from both sides sat facing each other. They didn't speak. They didn't smile. Derek cleared his throat. Thank you for letting us speak today. My name is Derek. This is Mira. Come from different worlds, but we chose to walk the same path. Mira stepped forward. I was born on a quiet Valari moon. I never thought I'd leave. I was nervous to meet a human. But when I did, I found someone kind, someone who listened, someone who trusted me. Derek nodded. And I found someone who helped me heal, who reminded me that strength doesn't always mean power. Sometimes it means standing beside someone even if you don't fully understand them yet. They shared moments from their time together. How they learned to live in one room. How they saved the station from danger. How they chose to continue. As partners, not because of duty, but because they wanted to. Slowly, the room changed. Arms folded. In anger dropped to the side. Eyes that had been cold softened. A young voice spoke first. How do you know you can trust each other? Mira smiled. Because we gave each other time. We asked questions. We made mistakes. And we kept trying. An elder from one colony said, but humans are loud, fast, emotional. Derek chuckled. True, but Myra taught me to slow down. I taught her to speak up. Another elder leaned forward. Do you care for each other? There was silence. Mira looked at Derek. He looked at her. He nodded. Yes, I do, she said. Yes, I do too. The room stayed quiet for a few heartbeats. Then one leader stood. Then another. A quiet nod passed between them. Not full peace. Not yet. But something better than silence dash understanding. As the meeting ended, Mira and Derek stepped back outside. They didn't speak for a while. The stars above shimmered gently. I think we did okay, Derek said finally. I think we did more than okay, she replied. He turned to her. Mira, what happens after level 6? She blinked. Nothing. Nothing. More levels. Just life. He laughed softly. Life sounds good. She reached for his hand. He took it. Thank you, she whispered. For what? For choosing me. He looked into her eyes. Thank you for choosing me first. And as the shuttle carried them home, back to the station where it all began. The two walked side by side, no longer strangers, no longer assigned, just two souls who chose each other.